next I thought I'd offer some thoughts and opinions on my Les Paul Standard 60s Unburst. So I got this last June, pretty much because I'd been missing playing a Les Paul. I used to have a Gary Moore signature Les Paul way back in the early 2000s, got it in 2001 I think, which was a great guitar, nice solid body, chunky neck, no binding or anything on it, but it had a nice kind of lemon burst finish, and I put another zebra pickup, so 2 zebra pickups in it. But I sold that basically to get my first Sur guitar, my red kind of Pro Series, and at the time, you know, that was, I didn't regret that at all, because I've still got my Pro Series. It's a fantastic guitar, amazing guitar in fact. But in recent years I've been hankering again for Les Paul, which after my lust for a Strat, I don't know if it's a middle-aged thing, wanting to get Strats and Les Pauls, but you know, I've always kind of missed that kind of Les Paul thing, you know, hardtail, you know, 2 humbuckers, no messing about. So with Gibson under new, you know, kind of management type thing and upping their game a little bit quality wise, and when they brought out the new standards, the Standards 50s and Standard 60s, the Unburst Standard 60 caught my eye. So I was lucky enough to get one on Reverb, as I said last year, second hand. Now I think I have a good idea why I know it was second hand, because apart from you know, it was in mint condition, apart from some little issues, and this is a common thing these days still with Gibson and kind of quality control. There's a little bit of kind of tooling marks, heavy-handedness on the kind of binding in the neck, a little bit of binding bleed here as well, and there's some orange peel kind of feel on the you know, the kind of finish around a bit here and then around a bit the neck here, though that's hard to buff out, you know. And this gets into kind of interesting idea of what, you know, you're getting for, you know, over $2,000 for a guitar compared to say like a custom shop. Now I sold my blue Sur Custom for this guitar, you know, which some people might be going, what, out there? And that was a one-off, but that was a custom shop made guitar with the top luthiers at Sur, and it was impeccable, absolutely impeccable guitar. But I wasn't playing it. I just wasn't feeling inspired to pick it up anymore. I was playing my Strats a lot more. I've made that Charvel, which, you know, fraction of the price compared to that. So I thought I'll sell it and get the Les Paul, because I just feel more inspiration to want to pick up and play the Les Paul. So this is a factory made guitar. It's not a custom shop guitar. So this is the thing to kind of factor in. There are human hands making this guitar, and if you've seen the Gibson factory tours or the kind of the build process videos that they put up, which are really, really cool, I recommend you go and check them out, you'll see that the binding's still done by hand, by scraping, you know, so they paint it and then they scrape the paint off on the binding. So that means you're going to have these kind of little issues, and I think the previous owner must have got that, seen this, and then maybe that was just, you know, they didn't want that, they wanted, you know, something else. I'm not too overly fussed. You know, it wasn't over the moon that I found out there was these little tooling marks. Ideally, if you're buying, you know, you should really try them in the shop. But of course, you know, with the production kind of backlog and the way things are in the world at the moment, that's not always the case. So when it turned up and I saw that, I wondered, you know, just from visually seeing it, but then when I started playing it, I made up my mind to keep it, basically, because the, you know, the neck on this is very, very comfortable. As I said, this is the 60s, so the neck on this is the slim taper neck compared to the slightly thicker one on the 50s. I had, as I said, the Gary Moore Les Paul, which had a big old chunky neck on it, so I was looking for something maybe just a little bit slimmer. I'm not overly fussed with big necks. I mean, I can kind of play either, as long as the neck's not too thin. But it's interesting that, I mean, the actual Sunburst Les Paul, the variation in those 59, 60 kind of necks is quite a bit, you know, even because they're all handmade. There's not one that's like really thick or one that's really thin. They tend to say the 60s is a little bit thinner, but you have a lot of variation there. But the neck's very, very comfortable. Because they're plecked as well in the factory, the fretwork and the no choking. You could set the action in this unbelievably low. I don't like my action too low, so, but when it arrived up, it was really low, and I just put it up a little bit. But it's really, really comfortable to play. The pickups, wasn't too sure. Still not 100% sure about this neck pickup. Bridge pickup I really like, but I find that the neck pickup may be a little bit woolier than it needs to be. So I may change these pickups. What I've done is I've lowered the pickup down in the neck, and with a, as you heard in the sound demo, I've jacked up the high end a little bit in the kind of Fender style amp that I've got in the Helix, and that seemed to help quite a bit. But I might change these pickups, and if I do, I'll do a video on it. Tuning stability wise, pretty stable. If you stretch your strings, you're not really going to have an issue in a well-made guitar as long as the nut and everything's cut right, and this keeps its stability nice. I'll be gigging it this weekend, so we'll see how it goes under harsher kind of live conditions. What I was going to say, I have changed a few things on this actually compared to when I got it stock, because you probably noticed I changed the 60s knobs to the kind of 50s style gold ones, and I also changed the buttons and the grovers here. So I've got the kind of 50s style kind of plastic cloisonne type thing. I'll give you a link to where I got this one because I can't remember exactly what it was, but it adds just kind of the look of it that I kind of prefer, and it's really kind of cool. The top, the finish, this Unburst is really tricky to catch in camera. Obviously the 50s has got the model, the standard's got the traditional kind of non-faded kind of cherry burst, if you were to buy it straight at the factory back in the 50s. But I wanted something that's a bit washed out. That's what drew me to the Unburst. And the colour of this in person, I don't know if it's because a lot more yellow comes through because of the light hitting it, but it's not as orange. On the camera it's very orange, maybe red kind of looking, but in person it's not. It's a bit more brown in there. And you can see even with, if I'm holding it here and moving it quite a bit, there's a lot of variation depending on what angle that you're seeing. The top in this is really cool. Obviously I saw the top before buying it, so I knew it was going to be like that. It's almost like from one angle this is quite a plain, and then it's heavily flamed there, but you just catch the angle right and you see the the flame on both sides. So I love that. That's one of the great things about your maple top Les Paul. It's a two-piece body. This can't remember if it mentioned in the spec, but I can easily see that this is a two-piece body. So something to keep in mind if you're a one-piece body kind of guy. But yeah, it's a great guitar. It's a Les Paul. I had the urge for a Les Paul, got Les Paul, and it ticks the big Les Paul box. It does all the kind of Les Paul things you want. Great kind of feel. This is 9.7 pounds, so it's not the lightest, this one, but I think this was lighter than my Gary Moore Les Paul. But it was a while ago, so I can't 100% remember. But we'll see how it feels on my slightly older body now when I'm gigging it at the weekend. But yeah, it's been great. I've been playing it a lot. The frets are beginning to show just a little bit minor wear, so that's nearly coming up for a year. And the other thing about the frets is obviously they're kind of more vintage kind of correct, so some people prefer bigger frets. Obviously I like big jumbo frets anyway, but I can, I've got a 50 style Strat there with absolute tiny fret wear on it, so I'm not personally too fussed, but it feels very, very nice to kind of play. But that's another thing to factor in. If you want huge frets in this, you'll have to refret it. So yeah, it's standard 60s Unburst. For me, it's a great guitar. I'm loving to play it. It's inspiring me to pick it up and play it. I play on it slightly differently maybe than I would play on other guitars. Les Pauls aren't for everyone. The scale length, the weight, the access at the top, it's not going to do everything. But for the Les Paul thing, of course, it does the job. So hopefully the video's been kind of informative for you if you've stuck with it this long. If you want, if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well if you want to be kept up to date with kind of videos. Obviously check out the channel because I've got, as well as the gear demos, I've got loads of kind of lessons on the riffs and solo lessons and stuff, and there's a lot more to be coming to that as well. You can also come and join us on the Master the Guitar Patreon group if you want, and you'll get access to a lot of additional materials, behind the scenes, animated tabs, backing tracks, more kind of in-depth theory with the Master solo lessons. So there's a lot more kind of extended stuff you'll get on there as well, plus additional lessons that you won't actually see on YouTube. You can also follow me on Twitter, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram as well if you want to follow me on those kind of platforms. So thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it, and I'll see you soon.